Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and I want to welcome you back, rather briefly, to World of Tanks. Now, long-time viewers of my channel may recall that I used to do a fair amount of videos on World of Tanks back in the day, and I did make a brief comeback to it last year, but I hadn't really played much of it since 2018, maybe even earlier. But I've made a comeback to the game in recent days, and though I'm not planning on doing any more big videos on it like I used to, maybe I will show off the occasional footage like this. This is my first ever battle in the Tier 7 Premium Russian Heavy Tank, the KV-122. I've had this tank for years, but I never played it until now. And as you can see, it's Province, a map that should never have been made for higher tiers like this. It should have just stuck around the tier 3 mark. And here I am, going down the hill. I sort of loaded in a little bit late, but it doesn't matter. Going to go up the opposite side of the valley, and instantly I'm spotted, get hit by a few tanks. And I need to try and get in cover behind this rock. As you notice, I got tracked, and I immediately get tracked again. My engine's gone, crew is stunned, and the tank isn't moving because the tracks are still broken, the engine's gone, and I'm dead. That was my first ever battle in the KV-122. Fortunately, we didn't win this one, because that would have been one hell of a waste of a ×3 experience weekend. So immediately after that massive disappointment, I decided to go in another Tier 7 heavy tank, this time the Black Prince. A tank I've had for quite a while, and I've just never really bothered playing it that much as I guess I should have bothered a bit more, because I've missed out on the FV215B, which was a real project, whereas the Super Conqueror completely is fake, so yeah. Oh, and yeah, and they completely ruined the Tier 9 Conqueror too, with that stupid fake turret. The issue with the Black Prince, as some of you may be aware, but for those of you who aren't, the Black Prince is essentially a really good Churchill tank, which sounds amazing. Except the Churchill tank was what is known as an infantry tank in British Army terminology of the time. And the Black Prince is one too, which means it's really slow. It was meant to keep pace with infantry, hence the term infantry tank. Without a turbocharger, the fastest this tank can go is 20 kilometers an hour. I don't quite know what that is in miles an hour, but it's not going to beat the land speed record anytime soon, that's for sure. And as you may have noticed, the enemy team on this particular battle isn't very good. In fact, the battle is only just turning 3 minutes old, and already they're down to 5 tanks, and I've taken a single pot shot at a TVP 100, and it didn't exactly connect, and I can't see any of the other tanks. I mean, there's those two over there, but I can't actually get a shot on them because they're inside a culvert or whatever, a little dip, which means they're protected from my gun. I can't shoot them, so I've got to. I'm trying to take advantage of. Well, I say take advantage. You can't exactly take advantage of the slow speed, but at least there's one thing that the Black Prince has going for it. It's got quite a bit of torque, as it has a Rolls-Royce Meteor engine, which is the ground version of the Rolls-Royce Merlin. So I don't lose too much speed whilst fording through this swamp. Unfortunately, the Churchill tank, Churchill Black Prince, whatever you want to call it, it's a tank that is not meant for a long-range mission like this, and it's definitely not suited at all for a very fast-paced game like this, because not even 5 minutes of the battle time have elapsed and the enemy team is already on its last legs. There's 2 vehicles left, a Carnarvon and an AT-15A. But don't worry, I will get some damage into this game. Am I going to kill the AT-15A, who is now the last remaining enemy tank? Well, I'm going to get 1 shot. I'm going to take a few pot shots, and I actually managed to connect and do 148 damage. Then I load the gold, somehow managed to hit the friendly tank, and then all my gold shells don't hit, and then the AT-15A is conveniently behind the building. I get a critical hit, but that's it. I can't get any more shots, and that's my game. I spent the entire match playing catch-up. I was, rather unsurprisingly, for both of those matches, at the bottom of the team lists. In the KV-122 match, understandably, I was knocked out very early on against an enemy I couldn't see and who expertly detracked me and took out what would have been a fairly dangerous enemy early on. But with the Black Prince, it's just... You know, I want to like this tank. I love British tanks. The Black Prince is a pretty cool tank. In real life, in the game, not so much. For one, the main issue with it is its impeccably slow speed. Impeccable is not what I would usually use to describe slowness, but it is incredibly slow. At least it's not TOG slow, but this is a very defensive-oriented tank. I should have taken the advice of other people and gone into the city. Maybe I would have actually done something. But maybe I wouldn't have, because that's another issue with the Black Prince. Its main gun, well, the best main gun it gets is the 17-pounder, which, if you listen to all the tales of the 17-pounder from World War II, you would know that it was a very good gun. It could knock out tigers left, right, and centre. But in this game, it's decent at Tier 6, but it's a bit worse for wear at Tier 7, and it's not really a gun you really want to be using at Tiers 8 and 9. But this is the best gun that the Black Prince can get. You can't even fit a 20-pounder or a 32-pounder. You are stuck with a gun that would be good on a Tier 6 tank, but here, 171mm of penetration and 150 damage just doesn't cut it. This is very much a defensive sniping tank that has okay armor. Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to free experience to the Carnarvon. I don't want to suffer through the Black Prince anymore. But there you go, guys. That is a brief comeback to World of Tanks. And who knows, maybe if you like the content, maybe I'll do something else in future, but I'm not planning on making a major comeback to any wargaming title. Especially not World of Warships.